Welcome, friends,
to the How To Heretic.
I'm Uncle Mark.
And I'm Uncle Dan.
And I'm Uncle Doug. And this is your user's guide to life on the outside.
That's right. Leaving religion is the first step into a larger, better world.
But it can also be a scary world. Things work differently now.
Never fear. That's why we're here.
We are your audio uncles. And with help from good friends and experts in all sorts of fields,
We're going to share the stories and seek the knowledge to build a great life.
after all, you only get one we know of, so you'd better make the most of it. Yeah! Well, Uncles 3,
Howdy do.
how we doing? As someone suggested to us on Twitter, the Unholy Trinity.
Yes, indeed.
Here we are for show 60-something.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a lot of fun.
If you say so.
You're going to talk about an important couple.
Yeah. Yeah, the first couple,
The first couple.
but not those MAGA hat wearing ones.
no,
Well,
Jesus.
we don't know that.
Well, what, don't we?
She
No,
might as
I'm
well
very
be made from a rib. And then we're going to have a lengthy discussion that I'm going to spring on you guys at the end.
Ooh.
Exciting.
A little how-to that I think is long overdue.
All right.
Well, that sounds delightful. Let's just dive into it.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. We got an announcement.
I want to keep talking.
Yeah, keep talking.
Because we got to talk about the fact that we are still raising money for the FUFRF. It's still December.
Yes.
We're still doing it. I had a realization. I had an epiphany, which was that some people might think, because it's now halfway through the month, if I start now, I'm barely even giving anything to the FUFRF. Why would I even start now?
That's right.
So what we're doing, we've revamped. If you start your donating to us in December, this makes it much more complicated for me to sort this out.
There's
But
a lot
we'll
of
do it.
maths.
There will be maths. If you start your donation in December, in the
At
month,
any point.
At
in
any
December.
point.
Any day.
we will donate 1 month's worth of what you give
Yes.
to the FUFRF.
We will donate 20% of everything you give for a month.
If you start on the 31st of December, that still counts. You get one month's worth of your donation. 20% of it goes to the FUFRF.
To the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
They are-
all the good work they do.
Yeah. So give till it hurts.
So just hit that Patreon button before the ball drops in Times Square, and all that money will go to our favorite Jew lawyers
Yeah.
in Madison, Wisconsin,
Whoa.
fighting the war on Christmas.
Not really sure what happened just there, but yeah.
A little truth is what happened.
All right. Before we get sued, let's move on.
Well, Uncle Doug,
Uncle Mark.
I don't know what your attitude towards keeping snakes is, or eating fruit.
Well, negative and positive in that order.
I used to have a snake.
Suit yourself. And really, what did that snake tell you about?
You know, I
Things.
found my maybe he was shy.
You had a shy snake?
I had a bit of a shy snake.
What are we talking about?
He did bite me once.
Uncle Dan has a shy snake, everyone.
I got snake bit.
Let's move on. So, Uncle Dan, you're going to tell us about snake friends and fruit enthusiasts today.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know, I thought we'd delve back into the origin of us all. That fateful beginning, that flowing font from which we all flowed.
Okay.
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Steve.
No.
Oh,
I saw a sign about it. It's definitely not that.
really? Okay.
Yeah, something to do with plugs.
Agree
And
to disagree. But
Right.
you tell your version, Dan.
something to do with how things plug into things. I don't know. Anyway, this is the story of two dirt people who knew nothing and ended up siring the best and worst species on Earth, depending on who you ask.
How about that?
I'll remind everyone that when last we left Genesis in episode 47, we were thoroughly confused about the two competing creation narratives that
Yes.
were presented in chapters 1 and 2.
Dirt woman, rib woman.
Yeah, and well, no, it was man and woman created at the same moment, or
Out of dirt, though, right?
well, in the next one, man's created out of dirt. We'll get to it.
Oh, for
we'll get
fuck's
to
sake.
it. What we weren't confused about, however, was that by the end we had two people, Adam and Eve. Or rather, actually, I shouldn't say that because they didn't actually have names by the time we left them.
Okay.
We just had a man and a woman. Adam, of course, was the pile of dust that apparently had nostrils into which God could blow life.
Right.
Dust nostrils.
Right. And Eve, who was made by the world's first non-consensual human cloning disaster using stem cells from Adam's ribcage. So, off to a good start.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny to note the wording of that whole rib thing. So I'm just going to dive into
It starts with, I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
just. Well, no, this is I want my baby to begin with. It's
Oh,
Doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
no, that's why it took so many centuries millennia before Chili's came up
Before
with the
Chili's
song.
could perfect.
And now announcing our new sponsor, Chili's.
That's right.
Look out, Wonder Bible.
So this is from that Bible book. Here we go. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and he brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Now, no real note as to how the Lord made a rib into a woman. And if you say, God magic, then you're stuck with the problem of why bother with the roofie surgery?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't you just find there's no more nose-shaped piles of dirt out in the...
No, there's no more dirt schnozzes out there. But it's like, if you can make a woman out of a rib, that's some David Blaine impressive. That's impressive. But it's a good trick.
I always thought it said woman came from man, so she was called woman. When I was younger and read this, I'm like, it must be the etymology of the word is woe is descended from man or some shit like that. But it's not, because in other languages those two words don't have that connection.
Right. It's Aramaic for rib.
That would be useful if this book had been written in English.
Exactly.
Which it was not. Although,
What?
Yeah. Go figure. That was just bad thinking or bad planning on behalf of the Lord. 'Cause this is obviously his own true language. Anyway, nevertheless, Adam was pleased with his new rib friend.
Sure.
He even wrote a poem about her, which that's that whole this whole bone of my bones thing. So good stuff. The next sentence.
They didn't have names, but he was a poet.
Yeah.
What's the poem?
It's that whole this is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh.
Roses are red or something like that.
Right, yeah, exactly. Anyway, the next sentence in the book is pretty famous and used quite a lot, and maybe you guys can help me make sense of it, because I just stare at it now. Like, I thought it was one of those things, like you said, where I thought it made sense. Like, all the times that I used to hear it, I thought it made sense. And then when I actually looked at it and went, well, what does that mean? I was like, It literally. So Adam says she's bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, and she'll be called woman because she was taken out of man. And then it says, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh.
So mothers and fathers did not yet exist.
Yeah, that is a problem.
Right.
We don't even have the concept of mothers and fathers yet.
Right.
Those haven't been invented.
Well, yeah, because God didn't birth them. He blew into a pile
Right,
of mud and
so-
stole a bone.
And Mormons notwithstanding, we have no knowledge of a heavenly mother in this book.
Right. And also, these are two people so far without names nor belly buttons being instructed about how the family unit should work when they... okay.
Do you think he had a ribby button? Like maybe something.
He must have had a scar.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was no longer he wasn't whole anymore.
Yeah. For years they just assumed that men had one fewer rib than women.
I've heard that Christians believe that. Some Christians believe that.
Yeah.
But so that men have an asymmetrical number of ribs.
Right, because God didn't just take Adam's rib, he took humankind's rib.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All it makes is sense. Anyway, and what did rib sharing have to do with, like, how does that instruct us that we're supposed to leave our parents and then hold fast
I like
to our
that
wife?
that was the first green program on Earth was rib share.
Anyway, that's chapter 2 of Genesis, which ends with one of the great non sequiturs of all time, which is just all of a sudden, right after that they become flesh of one flesh, the next line is, "And the man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed." Great. Good for them, I guess. Bad for them? I don't know. Either way, here comes the good stuff, because the Lord has planted a lovely garden.
Yeah.
In which Adam, and presumably Eve now too, was an indentured servant. We knew that before Eve came along, Adam was set to work in the garden. It wasn't just paradise; he was the gardener. So,
Classic religious family.
right?
Yep.
And in that garden, back before Eve came along, depending on which creation story you believe, of course, God said to Adam, "You may surely eat of every tree of the garden, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in that day that you eat of it, you shall surely die."
Okay.
A solemn warning.
Yeah.
Could he, first of all, could he not have just called it the apple tree and made it a little bit clearer?
Look, I want to
Right,
clear something up.
exactly.
We don't know that these were apples.
The tree of majesty and maelstrom.
Right.
Which one is that? Is that the pear?
Or just play it down a bit and say, hey, that tree's poisonous. Don't
Right.
eat that tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you shall surely die, which they didn't. But that's not...
Whoa.
Oh.
Spoiler alert. What are you doing?
Whoa, Cody.
Calm
Cut this
yourself
out.
down. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
So, yes, you're going to die. Okay, thanks, God. Good tip. But there are also critters in the garden.
And also, they don't know what death is. They've never seen death.
They don't know anything about anything.
Right.
Right. So death, what does that even mean?
They're naked, unashamed.
And
They do not have matching rib pairings.
right.
Yeah. Like they were just literally just brought to life, and he's like, I'm going to tell you about marriage and horticulture. Understand?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, there are critters in the garden, as you have mentioned, and
Yeah.
they can talk. Side note, remember how God kept giving Adam all these animals, and he was supposed to name them all, and none of them were a good companion,
Right,
quote
so-
unquote companion
So he
for
was
Adam.
he was showing God all the beasts of the field, etc., or showing Adam to pick as a companion. Actually,
yeah. If you recall.
pre-Eve, I think.
Yes,
And so in rejecting them, Adam somehow named them all.
he was naming them, and then I'm guessing now that I read this, he was having conversations with them, figuring out what they're all about.
It was like speed dating.
It was speed dating.
Interspecial speed dating.
Yeah.
Did any of these dates end in consummation? Do we know that?
I mean,
Did any of them not?
right? This is the question. And then
His name should have been Randy. Randy and Eve.
I think we've just invented the porn version of this story, which I want to see.
Randy and Rib Lady.
Riblet. Anyway, so Adam apparently did not have enough in common with an emu or an orangutan, and so
Or an ocelot.
right,
Or an ossifrage.
a greater or lesser owl.
An orangutan.
So God had to give him himself only with tits. Anywho, the sneakiest sneak of the garden was the serpent,
Sure.
and I want you to imagine him. I'm picturing, by the way, the Geico gecko, just because we will learn later that he had to have somewhere to fall. So I'm thinking he walked upright at this point.
Oh, because of the curse that he was.
Because at the end, because he's not slithering on the ground just yet.
Good point. He's not a snake at this point.
Not a snake.
Well, it
He's-
says serpent, right?
It does say serp. Well, I mean, it says something in Hebrew.
And this is the origin of David Icke's lizard people.
right.
Probably.
We're all lizard people. Anyway,
It was
so
Queen Elizabeth of Windsor.
maybe maybe one of you fellows can explain to me why a talking animal would have anything to gain from rhetorical craftiness, because I don't get it. But crafty he was.
But he did Satan, isn't it?
Yeah, but
No,
but
it's not.
It's not Satan.
It doesn't say
It
that
doesn't, you're
anywhere.
right.
It is a fucking snake.
So that's a little backfilling.
That it's 100% backfilling. There's no mention of anything other than a snake, a serpent.
So in Genesis at this point, he's just another creature
Just one of the critters that's
making
walking
his
around.
way the only way he knows how.
With unclear motivations, like why is this serpent doing this? What does it have to gain?
Well, somehow this serpent actually has some insider knowledge. Maybe he heard God talking. I don't know what. But he says...
Maybe he was a failed rib experiment. It's like the island of Dr. Moreau.
Kill me.
It's like the fly. He just keeps putting ribs in the fucking replicator.
Anyway, yeah. Somehow, I'm guessing that the serpent has been experimenting with the mushrooms in the garden because he can see straight through the bullshit.
Right.
Okay? And he's like, hey, you should probably eat that fruit. You're not going to die. You're going to be... It's called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You're going to get knowledge. Isn't knowledge a good thing? If you just eat that fancy fruit. So he convinces Eve that she should know the difference between good and evil, and somehow also that's going to make her like a god. Somehow the contention of this book is that the knowledge of good and evil makes them like God. And he says, you're not going to die.
In that, is it as literal as they will create life, like man and woman will create life?
How does
like
knowing the difference between good and evil make you create life?
Well, before they ate of the tree, they didn't have sex, right?
Didn't they?
I don't know.
I don't know,
It doesn't
too.
say, does it?
It doesn't tell us.
They were not ashamed of being naked, so they were clearly in their 20s.
Right.
So they were clearly horny.
Right. They were created at 20.
Well, I mean, as we'll learn later, and I'm not going to get to the whole Cain and Abel stuff.
Yeah.
But as we learn in the beginning of the Cain and Abel story, she doesn't have babies. She has men. It's this very, very strange thing. Matter of fact,
Well, I don't need to make this whole segment about bringbacks and throwbacks, but she has men and Bigfoots. But we'll move on.
right. Yeah, literally, I'm just going to read the first part of Genesis chapter 4 since you brought it up. That says, Now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord. And again, she bore her brother. Anyway, yeah, they were apparently instant men.
And it bears repeating that the first man born on earth was a murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just
off to a good start.
Yeah.
Off to a really good start. But this story might have some explanation for that. Anyway, she's decided that she believes the serpent, for whatever reason. But I'm going to pause here and ask, in the story of this big, dangerous piece of knowledge that God was hoarding from the two dopey humans in the garden, the thing that he was hoarding was the knowledge of good and evil?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Well, it's come to mean sex and sexuality, and hasn't it? And it in the Christian universe, and it's specifically the evil of female sexuality, is what I've always taken the story of Adam and Eve to.
I think that's the backfilled story.
Well, is it, or is it?
Well, I don't know.
Right there in.
Well,
in
I just want to know. I just want to know what evil could two naked people in a garden possibly do?
You never watch Cops. You've never seen
Bad Boy.
You've never seen Cops Tallahassee.
Yeah. I mean, more to the point, as we're about to learn, they were already unwittingly doing evil. Nudity is bad, okay? But they didn't know it. So how is knowing it that big a deal one way or the other?
Because when God comes back in a minute, they're hiding because they've eaten the fruit and now they realize they're naked. They've entered their mid-30s.
Right.
And they don't want to be seen.
Yeah, it just seems like is there something about the knowledge of good and evil that God doesn't want us to know about? Like maybe he's really shitty at good and evil. He failed good and evil in deity
now,
school.
hold on a minute.
I'm just saying.
If we've established anything in 60-plus podcasts, That is unsupportable.
The only evidence you have for that is the entire rest of the Bible.
Right, exactly. And everything that's passed since the writing of it.
Up until today and beyond.
Yeah. It's like he failed good and evil in deity school, and that's why the Bible is so fucking confusing, and that's why he didn't want Adam and Eve to know about it. So, anyway...
Can I ask, what would have happened if Eve had not eaten of the fruit?
We'd all be still living in
There wouldn't be we. Theoretically, those two people would still just be gardening.
or we'd all be naked and still living in Missouri, I guess.
There's that.
Yeah.
There is that.
That little, for our Mormon friends out there, if you don't know what that is, I'm sorry. We'll talk about it another time.
Yeah. So the serpent is effective, and Eve tries the fruit, and she gives one to Adam, who's just standing right there, and he also eats it, and ta-da! They didn't die. Story over.
Yeah.
Moral, God's a liar. Don't listen to him.
Yeah. I think the interpretation is now they've become mortal and they'll die eventually, which is backfilling.
It is not what the book says.
It's not what the book says.
The book says, surely that
die.
day you will die.
And they didn't.
And
But
they
Dan, a day is 1,000
didn't.
years.
No, it isn't. It's a day. They are kicked out, and they live many, many days.
Yeah.
So, God's a liar. So there we go. Psych. Obviously, that's how it should have gone down, but no, all we know, as we all know, this book's just getting started. So they eat the fruit and instantly notice that they're naked, and they realize that somehow that nakedness is apparently wrong for obvious and totally apparent reasons.
Yeah.
One assumes things were starting to sag.
Yeah, exactly.
So they invent sewing real quick and make some clothes out of fig leaves, which I was surprised to learn in my little bit of research. They are not that big, so they had a lot of sewing to do.
Sure.
I'm not sure what they used for thread or needles.
Right.
But-
They'd perfected very fine steel making.
Right, yeah, exactly. They were good stitchers. Anyway,
Or that God endowed Adam with the same equipment that my parents endowed me with, and he didn't need a lot of fig leaves.
oh, that's cute. So
Cody, get rid of that.
there they are in their new duds, and they hear God walking in the garden.
In their fig pants.
Right, exactly. And apparently God takes walks, so he's walking, and they go hide, as you mentioned. And, yeah.
You know how you know God was walking?
How?
It's only one set of footprints.
Stupid. Anyway, hiding from the omnipotent being, super effective. You would think that would not, he'd just be able to know where it was.
Right.
Anyway, apparently they were good hiders because instead of just knowing what was going on, God couldn't find them and eventually resorted to hollering. When they came out, God was like, "Hey, yo, what the fuck you hiding? And what's with the leaves there?" And Adam was like, "Look, I heard you coming, and I was like, holy shit, I'm fucking naked over here, so I got embarrassed, and I took off." And
God's like, I'm walking here.
right, exactly.
I love that we've now situated the Garden of Eden in Hoboken.
Yeah. I don't know if you know about it, but so then God says, "Who the fuck told you that you're naked?" Wait, I love that moment. Who told you you're naked?
The lizard.
Right. Well, that's when he figures it out. Wait a minute. Did you eat from that fucking tree? I told you not to eat from that fucking vafanculo. Adam! And Adam was like, "Yeah, it's the lady. It's the girl you gave me. She done it. It's her fault. She's no good. She gave me the fruit. See?"
That dirty rib bitch.
Just spare a moment there for the amount of misery that has been paid upon half of the population of the world because of that sentence.
Because of a fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The woman gave it to me. It's her
Don't make
fault.
this about me.
Right. Which is funny because then Eve immediately turns around and says, "Yeah, it was only because this fucking snake started talking and I got confused and he said you were lying and I wouldn't die if I ate it. And then look, I didn't die. So wait a minute. That means..." And God said, "Hey, look over there," and hit her in the back of the head with a pipe. Well, no, he didn't do that. But he
gave her a forget-me-now.
right, exactly. But he did decide to punish them all. And yeah, how stupid is it that Eve takes the brunt of all of this because she was the one smart enough to go, "Yeah, maybe it isn't true."
And Adam didn't put up a fight when she's like, "You need to eat this fruit." He's like, "Okay."
Oh, she didn't say you need to. She just handed him
Yeah,
one.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's literally just she gave him one, he ate, she ate.
At least she needed some convincing.
Yeah, exactly. So, this was not Eve being evil and Adam being like innocent. Just,
But yeah,
she didn't trick it. Like I thought growing up, somehow I got the idea that she tricked Adam
Yeah.
into eating
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fruit.
again, that's the backfilling, and that's supported that women are conniving and evil,
Right.
and
but think about
and
that.
men are. Women. Basically, it comes down to women have to cover their ankles and their hair because men can't control themselves. Right.
Right.
We'd still be in the garden if it weren't for that rascally woman.
Right.
And when God confronts Adam, he flipped on her like a New York lawyer.
Yeah.
I mean, just instantly like, she did it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like like a little bitch.
Like-
Just fucking take your licks.
Nice character, Adam.
Yeah, so there you have it. Then God punishes everybody. He makes the serpent slither around on the earth and eat dust.
Which is not what snakes eat.
The
but that's
serpent's
fine.
like, oh, shit.
Oh no, don't. And
and
yeah.
that women must bleed during the full moon every month.
Well, I love this. I'm still on the serpent thing. He
All
says,
right.
"I will put enmity between you and the woman." Apparently, this is the origin of the cause of women's fear of snakes. And
Enmity is more than fear.
Yeah.
yeah,
There's outright hatred.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And between your offspring and her offspring, he shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. So apparently, there's a lot of snake stepping in the future.
Yeah.
For the offspring of the snake and the woman. To the woman, God said, I will surely multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be contrary to your husband. Your desire shall be contrary to your husband, and but he shall rule over you.
Okay, I'm sorry. The punishment for Eve is that he's going to make childbirth more painful. So
That's the first part of the punishment.
So the pain of childbirth going forward from this moment is her fault.
Well, if you're giving birth
For
to
all
fully
women.
grown men, I can imagine it's,
Right.
it's an incredibly intense birth.
It doesn't feel good.
Darling, he weighs in at 192 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Healthy baby man.
But also, your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you.
Yeah, fucking hell.
What is the
Meaning, you're going to want things that your husband doesn't want, and you don't get them because
Yeah.
he's bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
So
nice
this is
book.
not backfilling. This is right there in the.
That's
in
just
black
right there in black and white.
Yeah.
Man rules over woman. Shut your whore mouth.
It's right there in the police report.
I don't care what you want. It's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
And then, but Adam gets punished too, and he gets the most lines spent on his punishment.
Okay.
So he says to Adam, because you have listened to the voice of your wife, never listen to your wife. The messaging is all good here.
Did it not say earlier in the book that you're supposed to cleave to your wife and be one flesh?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Just don't listen to her.
All right.
Because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In pain you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you. And you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return. So he gets thorns.
Wow.
Sometimes there are thorns.
Is that paleo? Is that where paleo comes from? Which one is that? Which one of the diets?
It's the thorn and
Well,
thistle diet.
It's not gluten free, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So wow, what a sad day for him too. Some things are prickly now.
It's quite an overreactive parenting moment, isn't it?
it's the worst.
Look.
This God sucks.
If you have teenagers, you know they're gonna test the fences. They're gonna test the boundaries. So you can't just take away their computer, their iPhone for a year every time they do some minor infraction, like you to Apple.
Or just say, I'm no more epidurals for you.
Right.
What the fuck?
Right.
Just because your daughter talks to a snake doesn't mean
It's so funny to me. And then of course there's another tree that God was worried about. God apparently didn't fuck you. If you're an omnipotent God and you don't want someone to eat a tree, just don't put them near the tree.
or don't make the tree.
Don't make the tree. Put the tree outside of the garden. There's a million solutions to this.
Build a wall.
So
Yeah.
Anyway, God realizes, oh shit, there's another tree, which is the tree of life, and so just to make sure. And by the way, okay, and many people have written about this, but this is where we get a very confusing little moment. The Lord God said, "Behold, the man has become like one of us in the knowing of good and evil. Now, lest he reach his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore, the God sent him out of the Garden of Eden."
So there was an antidote.
I'm just going to say, us.
I was about to say us. He's become like us. Who's us?
There
Right.
are.
The royal we.
It's not the royal we. It is the plural from the Hebrew.
This is pre-us. Right?
This is. There are multiple gods, and this was written in a time when there were plenty of gods, and this is the Bible acknowledging yet again.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
As we've explored many other times, there not only are many gods mentioned in the Bible,
Right.
the God of the Bible, Yahweh, apparently,
Yeah.
is constantly referencing the existence of other gods.
Yeah.
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 It's just a fact. There are other gods in the Bible. They are real. They exist in as much as the God of the Bible.
He is the
exists.
meanest mean girl in the God mean girl section.
Right. So, lest Adam and Eve get to have that other good fruit and actually live forever and be real gods themselves, the Lord God sends them out of the garden. They go, and so I guess they have to make their own garden now. I don't know. Anyway, and then he drove out the man. And at the east of the Garden of Eden, he placed the cherubim and a flaming sword that turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life.
I don't remember the flaming sword.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm just saying, maybe you should have thought of that first.
Yeah. Put the flaming sword by the tree in the beginning of the story.
Right. Don't just say, probably shouldn't eat that. Fucking put a sword there.
Or you know
I
what?
think this book doesn't make sense.
Put all the apple trees on one of the many continents that the authors of the Bible did not know the existence of.
Right.
Right? That could have been a better choice.
like Atlantis.
Yeah, and Lemuria.
This was Pangea at this time. It
That's
was
true.
all one
This
thing.
was 4,000 years ago.
So, all right. Well, that's the story. From then on, they go and they start making babies. Sorry, men. And
Wow.
that's what we got.
Thanks for clearing that up for us.
And as is, I think, the moral of all of the Bible stories as we discuss them, the moral of this one is the same. This is a stupid book.
And bitches be cray.
And bitches be cray.
If you see your woman standing by a tree talking to a snake, boy, you watch out. There's a flaming sword in your future.
Yes, indeed.
And a painful childbirth.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Well, gents, tis the season to be giving.
Yes.
And folks have been giving to us, and then we're going to be giving to somebody else. It's a whole thing. It's a circle give, is what it is.
Yes. Put some dosh under the tree
Yeah, exactly.
for your uncles and our friends at the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
We can all hear the sleigh bells ringling.
Yes.
And some people have decided to step up to the plate, and they're giving. So we got some folks to thank. New patrons include our friends Chris, James, Troy, Jessica, the paper librarian. Ooh, that's fancy. And Paul now deserves a saint.
Ooh.
And I believe that it is my turn to
canonize Paul's giving.
Yeah, to give Paul somebody that can love and watch o'er him.
Yes.
And Paul's saint is Saint Gertrude of Florence,
Classic.
Italy.
Classic.
And Saint Gertrude is the patron saint of long walks in buildings and frequent and healthy bowel movements.
Oh, she's.
Oh.
And it's
She is
funny
my saint.
how frequently those two go together.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Long, rapid walks in buildings,
Yeah.
And-
And then suddenly,
wonderfully effusive
right.
bowel movements.
Are these bowel movements in public restrooms and private restrooms, or
Where-
just all healthy bowel movements in general?
All healthy and all and frequent.
God bless you.
Yeah,
So-
congratulations, Paul.
So that's yeah. They tell me that's a good thing, Paul. So you're in great shape now. Blessed be ye.
Blessed be ye.
And for those of you who out there who still haven't become a patron of this show, and we know that there are plenty of you. We know the numbers, you guys. We know you're hiding out there.
Come on, people.
It's so easy. We make it so easy.
Yeah.
The show notes of this very show will have a link. You can go to howtoheretic.com and click a link there.
We have a Patreon option right at the top of the page.
You just go to the Patreon, you go over there, you sign up, and then bada bing, bada boom. You're paying a little bit of money. Doesn't have to be a lot. Can be a lot.
Then you get early access.
You get, yeah, sure.
And then you will have given a little bit to our friends at the Freedom from Religion
That's right.
Foundation.
20% of anyone who gives in the month of December, no matter when they start.
To fight the good fight.
Well,
And-
20% will go to the fur.
And look, 5 stars don't cost you a damn thing. So go to any place, especially iTunes, Stitcher, where you can give 5 stars. Don't be stingy with your stars.
Yeah.
Give us all 5.
4-star people go to like the terrestrial kingdom.
Yeah, they go to middle Mormon heaven, which is still pretty good.
Still pretty
Not gonna
good,
lie to you. There's
but
a
you
lot
can
of
do
Mormons
better.
there.
It's so easy to get into real heaven.
And the second tier is where Hitler is. So
Right.
you want to get up there
You got to get up there. So click that 5-star and
with the white people. Yeah.
Happy Racist Mark Day, everybody.
Woohoo!
Let's move on. Uncle Doug,
Uncle Dan.
you know, I don't know if you know this about me. I don't believe in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
I know everything about you.
Oh,
You are a son of perdition.
I'm a son of tradition.
Isn't that the funniest thing about
Tradition.
the sons of perdition is that you have to know it's literally true and still turn your back on it?
Right.
Who would do that?
Nobody.
Right.
Literally, no. There are no sons of perdition. Nobody is in outer darkness. We'll talk about that. I think we talked about that.
We did once. We talked about what it
Dumbest
is.
thing ever.
Dumbest thing ever. I don't believe in God. Y'all don't believe in God.
Yeah.
But there are some accoutrements, some things that are attendant to this non-belief.
It's a spectrum.
It's a lack of a belief. It's not even a belief that something doesn't exist. It's just a lack of a belief that something does.
Right.
That's a distinction I think is important.
At its purest form, yes, that's what it is.
Right. Anywho, Mark, you wanted to have a discussion about that fact.
I sure did. So let me tell you where this came from. So this is going to be one of our, I think, hopefully free form and conversational how tos.
Uh-oh.
So let me tell you how this came about. So I was having a long chat with a listener who, by the way, friends, is also a generous supporter.
Oh, nice.
Before Thanksgiving, he's a super nice guy. Was really nervous about going home for Thanksgiving to the small town he comes from, where he grew up in a pretty high demand religion, and he knows who he is. I'm not going to say his name,
Everybody knows who they are.
but he had lots of family and church shit to deal with as a newly self-realized atheist.
Right.
And among the very practical fears and concerns he had about his extended family and, sense of rejection and shunning and all the difficult conversations, there was a really interesting thread that kept popping up in our conversation.
Yeah.
And he's a super bright guy with a huge heart, and he's all those things. But it was like he was kind of asking me if certain thoughts and ideas were squaring with some sort of atheist orthodoxy.
Ah.
You know what I mean? So,
Am I atheisting right?
am I atheisting right? And I thought that was kind of interesting, and it led me down this, this kind of path of since we know we have a lot of listeners that have long been in the skeptical world and the atheist world, but we have a lot of people that are new to it. So that and some things I've been thinking about recently had me wanting to have a dialogue about how to basically atheist. So how to be an agnostic or skepticalize. But I think for the purposes of this conversation, let's just cover all the shades under the term atheist, or we'll be here all night, right?
Okay, sure.
We know all of our friends and our children out there in the big skeptical rainbow are on whatever journey they're on, but we're just going to use the word atheist for the term, the term in this discussion.
I do like that because I will say this. A lot of people have this worry that that word is scary to a lot of people.
Totally.
And they don't want to use it because they feel like there's a commitment to that word or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like to take the sting off of it because it's not a big scary word. It just means you don't believe a thing.
That's
It's
right.
fine.
And if you're more comfortable calling yourself an agnostic, that's great. If
yeah, that's fine. Nobody's gonna. Well, somebody might yell at you, but it won't be us.
Right. We're not going to yell at you about it. So, and that's going to be part of this discussion. So, anyway, as I mentioned to our friend and listener over drinks, there is no atheist pope, right?
We got to get us one of those.
We should totally get us. We couldn't be worse than the fucking Catholic one. But the good and the sometimes bad of our community is that we don't really recognize, and in fact, we kind of shun centralized authority because many of us are former religionists, and we're suspicious of centralized.
Not
authority.
only that, but like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
I mean, in a religious context, somebody can claim that they have divine mandate to be in authority or whatever.
Right.
Exactly right.
But in our little group, nobody's any. There are some better thinkers than others.
Right. So for our conversation, I want to go from the micro to the macro about what atheist orthodoxy is, even if such a thing exists. So
bacteria, all atheists.
that's right.
None of them believe in a god.
Bacteria to the Brontosaurus.
It's the Brachiosaurus. Thank you very much.
The Brontosaurus is my theory. So let me pose a few questions to start the conversation. So we're recording in the month of our Lord, December,
Yes.
right?
I don't think that's actually how you refer to that, but that's
It is now.
Yes.
So that's part of atheist orthodoxy.
Yes.
So here's a question. Is it okay for atheists to listen to Christmas music? And furthermore, how great a sin is it against the great nothing in the sky for a self-described atheist to put up a tree, exchange presents, etc., etc.?
Well,
It's fine if you listen to it, but you can't like it.
I think it depends on what the Christmas music is. If it's Joy to the World, you're in sketchy water.
Yeah.
It's all Jesus-y and stuff. But if it is the Mariah Carey song, then you should shoot yourself in the face because that song is torture.
I mean, of course it's okay. I think, it's Christmas in our, this is going a little bit off the track, but Christmas in our culture nowadays isn't really that religious to begin with.
Right.
It's
right.
mostly about buying presents and drinking, both of which you should definitely do. But no, I think it's fine. That's part of being an atheist, is not having to be offended or be turned off by something. Oh, you kind of get to do what you want, no?
Yeah, I mean, it's you're not forced to conform to anything anymore. If you really free yourself from those particular mindsets and an enforced kind of recognition of the calendar, you can kind of do what you want. I mean,
here's the thing. There's no, as you say, there's no orthodoxy here. There's
Right.
no right way to do it. You're not sinning against anybody except you're possibly yourself. So
Right.
like your sensibility is what needs to drive this thing. If you loved Christmas growing up, if the tree was your favorite thing, if giving presents feels great to you, great.
Yeah.
There's no problem there.
no, and we'll get to
I
this
know
later.
atheists who have nativity scenes out on their mantle
Yeah,
because they like the art.
we'll get to it later about in the discussion, but there are people who will tell you that is a violation of atheist orthodoxy. Christmas is, but I don't think you should listen to them. I think personally, I hate Christmas. I hate Christmas music. Odd side note: the only Christmas song I ever really liked, because the way my brain works is I don't really listen to lyrics, was "Baby It's Cold Outside." It's kind of jazzy and and cool. It's pretty.
It's a great song.
You and Bill Cosby both love that song.
I'm like, oh no, fuck, really? It's awful. But our friends Tom and Cecil on the Cognitive Dissonance podcast. Cecil loves Christmas music and plays it all December.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like you're going to be hearing these myths that you have rejected. You're going to be hearing all this stuff, all this praise of the Lord and all of this, Jesus was great and blah, blah, blah. And if you can sort of let that just be its own thing and not be bothered by it, great. If your friends are like, turn this shit off, maybe we'll save it till your shower time, because a lot of us don't like Christmas music.
Yeah, and,
Right.
and it can be very triggering for people who escaped a religious background because
Yeah.
it was such an oppressive. It's the December's a tough month. You're forced to be with your family. You're forced to go to church.
Oh, yeah.
And Christmas music can be wrapped into that. So some people, it is very triggering.
Yeah, for me and Doug were raised in a very violent household and Christmas was, if something was going to explode in the house, it was always going to be when we were stuck together during Christmas in our shitty house in the winter. So
How you celebrate?
I'm not in favor of Christmas, but I don't.
It's
I'm not
why
gonna,
it's why to this day on Christmas Eve we all get together and wrestle.
That's right. We call it wassailing and wrestling.
I just want to put a marker down here. We'll probably come back to this over and over through this discussion. But I personally, and this is just me, I don't like the term atheist orthodoxy. I think it's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
And one thing, apropos of what we were just talking about, the way I always kind of like to think about it is it's like Santa Claus. There is no hierarchy or community or organization for people who don't believe in Santa Claus.
Right.
You cast off a belief, and that no longer is part of your life. Now, we seek community because religion is so prominent in our culture and our histories, but the idea that there is a hierarchy or a clergy or a set of rules really rankles me personally.
It's like saying that not collecting stamps is a hobby.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And yes, that is true philosophically, but I think and we'll continue to talk about this, but I think that part of what's lacking for a lot of people in the skeptical community is community.
Right.
Right. And
get it how you can get it.
get it how you can get it. So look,
Yeah.
if you like Christmas, if you like presents, I know plenty of atheists who put up a fucking tree because it's a holiday that, as we all know, predates Christianity. It was in Northern Europe where these traditions come from. It was the darkest fucking time of the year. It was cold as fuck. So people got together and had a feast and had lights so that it wouldn't kill themselves.
Right. And
The shortest day of the year is worth celebrating
Yeah.
because you got past it.
Right. Well, and that's and it's a good time to get together and all lift each other's spirits.
Most
and that's
definitely.
what it's about. And frankly, the war on Christmas, the first shots were fired by Christmas. It's a war on
Christians.
Saturnalia.
Right.
It's a war on the other on the pagan rituals.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around.
If
So
there's a
if you
war-
want to put up a tree,
It's not a war, it's a trophy of war.
Right.
well, yeah.
Right? They took it.
And if you want to put up a tree, you're just reclaiming Saturnalia for yourself.
Do you guys say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays?
I will only say Merry Christmas if someone says it to me.
And do you say Merry Christmas back?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I do too.
I generally don't volunteer it.
Or sometimes I do a you too.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Same to you.
So here's the thing. It's somebody being nice to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's somebody wishing a good thing to you. Even it's not necessarily their problem that you don't celebrate it.
Right.
Right? If
Well-
someone said Happy Hanukkah to me, I wouldn't be like, what the fuck are you saying to me?
Right.
How
Now-
dare you assume I'm Jewish?
No, I have had someone say to me when I worked in a retail environment, someone said, well, I don't say Happy Holidays. I say Merry Christmas. So Merry Christmas.
Fine.
And at that moment, I was like, if I wasn't working at the time, I would have 100% been like, and Happy Holidays to you.
Yeah.
But because she was very clearly giving a fuck you to anyone who didn't follow her Jesus.
Right. Then let her be the dick about it.
And she is being, yeah, that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
Let them be the dicks. You don't have to be a dick. You can just enjoy your life.
Yeah. Exactly right.
And I think that's what this whole, I have a suspicion that this entire segment
Yeah.
is going to be about enjoying your fucking life.
Yes.
It's basically skepticism and atheism is a pathway to you do you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, as we'll discuss, there are times when getting up on your hind legs and being defensive or defending yourself or saying something back is totally appropriate.
Yeah.
But is it just the nice cashier that you don't know at the store who's wishing a happy something towards you?
Right.
I don't think that's the moment.
Well, and plus, one of the great things about being an atheist is we don't have any sacred cows.
Right.
You can't say anything. You can say things that I find to be distasteful or cruel or whatever, but you can't offend me because I don't have a sacred cow. There's nothing you can say like Christopher Hitchens was a this or that or
Right.
I mean,
I don't care.
I'm
Whatever, dude.
I'm offendable in the sense of like, if you're trying to be a dick to me,
Exactly.
I'm going to be offended. If you're saying something specifically to hurt my feelings, I'm going to be offended.
yeah. But there's nothing that you can say that
But you
that
can't say anything.
triggers something in me that's, you know what I mean?
You can't say anything about atheism.
Exactly.
Like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you see this online quite a bit where, and this there's definitely a truth to this where people are like, there's so much misogyny and racism and et cetera, in atheism, I just can't stand it. Yes, there is, and we'll talk in a minute about maybe where some of that comes from, but I'll put us up against the Catholics any day.
Oh, yeah.
I'll put us up against the
Mormons,
maybe not the
Christians.
Unitarians,
Maybe.
but
They got some too, though.
But I think it's important to draw a line between misogyny and racism in atheism and the fact that there are misogynists and racists who are atheists.
right.
Right, because there is no doctrine.
Right.
There's no, you can be a dick and also not believe in God.
Nobody can say, but your book says.
Exactly.
What book? Hitchens? That was his book. That's
his
not my book.
You can't hold me to any of that stuff. And if you want to be a misogynist and a racist, don't hide behind your atheism.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, and then this kind of leads us to, a greater question, which is, when I was last week, I did a segment on Mother Teresa, and I leaned very heavily on Mr. Christopher Hitchens' book about the subject, the missionary position. And he wrote something really kind of beautiful in the foreword that I want to bring up to guide the discussion a little bit, and it is this. Speaking about his book on Teresa, this is a small episode in an unending argument between those who are right, those who know they are right, and therefore claim the mandate of heaven, and those who suspect the human race has nothing but the poor candle of reason by which to light its way. So that struck me as an important way to begin to distinguish what a skeptical life is, and what we, in our little half-assed sophomoric way, do here, which is that we try to light a little candle and push back the darkness a little bit.
Right.
And I think we should see others doing the same as comrades in a common cause. And as a good share of the feedback we get here at the show from email and Twitter, etc., is disconnected or lonely ex-religionists who've lost community and are searching for some. So the last question that I want to ask about this is about demanding purity to our own causes and our own particular intellectual strain of atheism from within the skeptical community. And should we demand purity? And if so, how much?
Yeah, it's such a weird question to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it because there are people who have purity tests for atheism.
Totally.
There are people out there who are, and even some people who are big in the atheist movement, and who are fighting these fights, and they're important fights to fight, who demand a certain amount of purity in how someone practices their life,
And
their atheism.
they may be the sort of people that would insist that you have to leave Christmas behind with Santa Claus.
Yeah, or that you should never set foot in a church because your presence there is somehow granting some sort of assent to their practices,
Perpetuating their power or some such.
or even we have said don't give money to the Salvation Army because they're gay hating assholes.
Yeah.
But also they do give. They have shelters.
Yes, exactly right.
That are kind to people that need help.
I think, in my opinion, part of what happens when you become a skeptic, when you leave religion and start to, when you ring that bell, and you start to see that maybe the truth claims of whatever you came from are shoddy, or you read that first Bertrand Russell book or whatever it is that you begin the journey out. To me, in my experience, that was going when television went from black and white to color, right? And so you begin to see this whole new beautiful universe, and frightening maybe, laying out in front of you, but take that as a literal suggestion that the world is no longer black and fucking white.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, you probably shouldn't go sit in a church pew because your butt is sitting in a seat where it probably shouldn't be sitting for a myriad of reasons. However, if you love your family and you want to go to your niece's christening, if you want to go to a Christmas service and,
Hear the music? Yeah, I mean, there's a professional choir that you want to go and listen to, and they're going to be free if you go to this church.
And a space where the sound will be gorgeous and
it's a beautiful building, and
Yeah.
fuck, go.
that's living life in color.
When I am on vacation in Europe,
Right.
pretty much every Sunday I go to church because it's a good time to see a cathedral that might charge you to go in for free.
€1, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever. Like for instance, pro tip here: if you go to London, and if you know about it, if you find out when it is, there is a chapel inside the Tower of London that has service every Sunday.
Yeah.
And if you go, skip the line.
Don't pay the £20 to get in.
Don't pay the £20 to get in. Say to the guard, I'm going to church at St. Peter at Vincula.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like, okay, go in. Dress nice. And then you've got free entry into the tower.
Wear your Beefeater outfit, your
Yeah.
Sunday Beefeater.
Yeah, do your best Yeoman Warder impression.
No,
and
I'm going to get there and say I'm here for the service of Saint Dracula. I forgot how to say it.
Right. Well, there's that too.
Well, and I would take kind of a hard line, weirdly, on the purity kind of testing for people, because as we've talked about on the show, we make fun of all kinds of the branches that people land on as they're falling out of the tree of religion.
Right.
Whether that's Deepak Chopra or other places of woo, that people as their journey is a journey, and you're going to find stations on your way, and we're all in those different places. What right does anyone have to demand purity of anyone else? On what authority? You know what I mean? Like just because part of everything that we're about here is that people can change their minds and become enlightened.
Right. As much as I don't think I ever had the gene for belief, that wasn't the circumstances in which I popped into the world.
Right.
I popped into the world into an intensely religious community and family.
Yeah.
Right. And so my journey out was jagged and weird, and yeah, I had a big world music collection for a while, and I thought I was, I'm not gay, I'm complicated. I'm not the perfected being you see before you.
Right.
Is not what I always was. So, in talking about purity, there's this really beautiful quote that I think is a great way that I kind of think of when I'm engaging with someone to see if I can make common cause with them, which is when James Baldwin famously said, "We can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and right to exist."
Right.
So that, to me, is the litmus test. This is why I'm not going to debate somebody who thinks all gay people should be dead.
Right.
But if you don't believe that, if you believe I have a right to exist and you don't wish violence upon me, we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? And we can probably agree on a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And if we walk away having disagreed respectfully, shake hands and call it a day. It's great. That's all fine.
I mean, if someone, like you said, is trying to convince me that all homosexuals are evil, there's not a lot of common ground there.
Right.
But if someone's trying to get me to read the Celestine prophecy, on 95% of everything we'll probably agree.
Right.
And we should, right? Because that person...
if the person has the Celestine prophecy, I'll bet it's lower than 95. If someone says everything happens for a reason, I'm instantly suspicious.
And we should be clear that one of what we're not suggesting here is that you have to try to find common ground with everybody that you meet that disagrees with you or anything like that. If they're coming at you with the fountainhead or whatever and you're just not up for it, you can just wave them off and walk on. But the point is, there's no right way to you don't have to shun the rest of the world, the believing world. And you don't have to yell. You also don't have to yell your atheism from the mountaintops.
No,
you may feel the urge to do it. Lord knows I did when I first realized that God was fake. I was like, "Holy shit! I want to tell everybody."
It's a journey.
They
right?
don't respond well. They don't like that.
It is a journey, and so I think when you, especially for very passionate, if you're young and very passionate,
Yeah.
and you realize that you have been living a lie and everyone around you has been living this lie,
Yeah.
it's very hard not to, like in some Invasion of the Body Snatchers thing, run around, it's all fake, it's all fake,
Yeah.
But, and I think anger and passion are part of that journey. Yeah. And I don't want to shame anybody for that.
No.
And tell them they're not, I'm fucking pissed off half the time still. but I'm too tired to be that mad. I'm too old to be that mad all the time.
That's what age does for you.
But there's also another element to it where, you mentioned Christopher Hitchens a minute ago, and he's a very good example of someone who said some incredibly profound and articulate and well thought out things about atheism, but had some other things in his personal life and his belief system that I would quibble with.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was a war hawk.
He was a war hawk, and he was a drunk, and I'm not shaming. I'm just saying part of being an atheist is you evaluate things skeptically, whether they stand on their own.
Yeah,
It doesn't
by
have
their
to-
merit.
It doesn't have to come from a perfect vessel. That's not our thing.
Right.
Like
yeah, exactly.
truth can come from very imperfect sources.
Right. We're constantly being blamed for like, oh, you guys think you're right about everything. You think you're right about everything.
Right.
The inverse is true.
Yeah.
Right? As somebody, let's take the Mormon example here. There's the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Pearl of Great Price, the Doctrine and Covenants, like the 4 books of Mormon canon.
Right.
Somebody who thinks all the answers to the life, the universe, and everything are in 4 fucking books, telling me that I think I'm right about everything, that I have all the answers, is an insane thing to say.
Yeah, what a crazed proposition that is.
Right.
This notion that it's so arrogant of atheists to think they know everything, and they're just so smug about it. What the? Who are you talking to?
Right.
Have you looked in a mirror ever?
Projection much.
Right.
I don't know many atheists. I think there's a few atheists who are, anti-theists who absolutely insist that there is no possibility that God exists.
Right.
I think the vast majority of people I know in the community begin their philosophical underpinnings with, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I don't have proof.
We know some things.
It seems really damn unlikely, but we don't know.
It is de minimisly unlikely. But proof could occur, right? Evidence could present itself.
Yeah, and if evidence presents itself, most atheists and agnostics say, I'll look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I will
Okay.
definitely. Now, does that mean? And here's the thing that blows a lot of believers' minds. I'll look at any evidence they want that they think supports the notion of their God, even if they were to show me a person descending from the sky, who with lightning bolts coming out of their fingers, would I believe that God was worthy of my worship? That would take a lot more convincing.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll believe step by step. Okay, well, I now believe that someone can descend from the sky with lightning bolts. That's pretty amazing. What the fuck is that?
Well,
Right.
But the question isn't. Will I convert back now? The question is, what is that?
What's up with that guy?
And what am I seeing here?
That's awesome. How'd you do that?
Can I do that?
Well, and if I hear voices now in my current incarnation of myself, if I hear voices that no one else hears, I'm going to go see a doctor, not a priest. And that's because there is probably something clinically wrong with my complex brain.
Right.
Not necessarily that all of this other craziness is all of a sudden true against all odds.
Right. So I completely agree, and I think it's a good point to say, yes, here's this guy's got an amazing card trick.
Right.
But do I feel like he is deserving of being worshipped by all humanity as the creator? I mean, the evidence would have to be pretty astounding.
Right.
Right. It is an extraordinary claim.
I
It's
keep reading those
extraordinary
guys' book, and even if their God did show up, I wouldn't worship him. He might kill me.
It gets worse with every reading.
Yeah.
And the proposition in the book seems sillier and sillier with every reading.
Or at least I'd have some questions for
Well,
that guy.
and it's like
Yeah.
Christopher Hitchens says, even if you were to prove the virgin birth, all of your work about whether or not Jesus is divine and requires worship is still ahead of you. Like these things don't simply follow one after the other.
Right.
This is a house of cards of your making. You can't make me follow it.
Yeah, and so there's something else about kind of the purity universe that it is worth considering. And yes, I call myself an atheist, but my atheism is coupled completely with another precept, which is called humanism. Right? That it is my atheism is not super coldly scientific. All those things contribute to it, but it is if we have this one life, I think we should be less shitty to each other, and I think we should try to be a little bit more inclusive. And to me, part of that is we're talking about Hitchens. There's other kind of celebrated or well-known atheist authors like Richard Dawkins and what was mentioned before, Bertrand Russell, and there's important stuff
Right.
in all of that, and there's really good information in all of that stuff if you want to live a skeptical life. But I kind of want to talk about again, some of the feedback we get being from young people who are starting their journey, like teenagers, people in their 20s, and they may not have read. I'm talking to our advanced atheist brothers and sisters out there. If they have not read what you have read,
Yeah.
don't be a dick about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Don't be a dick about
They
it.
just haven't read it yet. And there's another group of people that we get feedback from, which are people beginning their journey in their 40s and 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
Especially don't be shitty to them.
Yeah.
Don't be shitty to the kids, but don't be shitty to these older people, because can you imagine the breadth and depth of unwinding and beginning the journey they have to do at this point in their lives?
Yeah.
If you engage somebody online or in the flesh who has not read what you've read, don't be a dick about it. Suggest that maybe they would enjoy to read this thing,
Right.
and it would be helpful.
So many of us are fleeing hierarchies where we were judged and trolled and purity distilled.
Yeah,
The people leaving religion in their 50s and 60s admire the bravery
yeah,
to do that.
Yeah.
And and there's probably a lot of embarrassment that goes along with realizing how much time you've wasted. I certainly believe that. I mean, I certainly felt that myself.
Well, and
don't be mean to these people.
Well, I mean, I think we can actually say, like, there are no tenets of belief in atheism. It's not a belief system at all.
right.
But I think we can safely say that we all believe just don't be a dick to people. Ever. You don't ever have to be a
even
dick
if
to
they
anybody.
get some of this stuff wrong right now, they might still be clinging to a higher power or clinging to some pieces of their religion. They're trying. They're on their journey. Don't be mean.
You don't
My
have to
God.
be mean to anybody.
Right. Well, I will say there are times where you can be a dick, but it's to people who are being evil. It's to people who are being nasty, and it's to people who are people who are on the offensive and being shitty to other people.
Yes. Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Defending yourself and defending others is a perfectly reasonable time to be an asshole if you need to. But we're talking about people who are just peeking out of the closet. There are people, you don't know their circumstances. No. Maybe they're not out to their family as an atheist, or maybe they're not out to themselves as an atheist, or maybe they're not safe
Right.
to do it. So be patient, lend a fucking hand, throw a drowning man a rope rather than another bucket of water.
Yeah, and it's amazing what a little bit of kindness can do. And we talked the other day with the gentleman from Life After Hate.
Yeah.
And he told that incredible story about the woman at McDonald's who saw the swastika on the guy's hand and just said, "You're better than this."
Yeah.
That a little bit of kindness to people at their moments when they're first peeking out from behind the curtains of religion can go so far. So
Yeah, and so I want to finish with this kind of little anecdote. Funny, it occurred to me in the middle of the other night, to kind of talk about what I would love the larger skeptical world to be, rather than what it can be at its worst moment.
And since we are the leaders of the skeptical movement,
We are the popes,
and you have to do what we say.
Yes, you can't
listen carefully.
so let it be written.
You can't hear the white smoke coming from out of Dan's roof. But
My ass.
here in Salt Lake, we have a ton of people of Greek descent. And, growing up in what was a comparatively cold and austere and patrician Mormon, WASP Mormon household,
They're called wasms.
the Greek families seemed like a lot more fun.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
yeah.
Yeah. Then I've gotten to know Greek families in a bunch of different cities around the world. And maybe everybody's experience with Greek families differs, but for the purpose of my metaphor, they're perfect. So
Okay.
I like to think of our skeptical community like I'm a Greek yaya, right?
Oh.
And so the way I look at it is, if you're a lot of Greek, great. If you're a little Greek, that's fine too. If you're not Greek at all, come on in.
Right.
Right. So I think we can aspire to be a little bit more Greek.
I like that.
All right. I guess that's a good place to leave it. Go out and hug your yaya, and and don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
All right. That's a good start.
Moving on.
that's it for this week's show.
Hey, we'd love to hear from y'all. Send us an email, howto@howtoheretic.com.
Or if you suspect you might be made from a rib, you can leave us a voicemail at 903-88-HOW-TO, which is 903-884-6986.
Yeah,
We're also-
or tweet at Mark about how he's not doing atheisting right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks again to all of our patrons. You're the wind beneath our wings.
And thanks to the wind beneath our wind, Cody Layton, for editing the show.
Thanks all of y'all for tuning in.
Bye, friends.